Hello everyone, it's Mafalda, and in this vlog I will explore if the StoryGraph recommendations are good or not. So if you're in the book community, you've probably heard of the StoryGraph. The StoryGraph was released finally this year, and it's basically a competition for Goodreads. It's a website to track your reading, and they have a bunch of stats, and they have a bunch of new features that I really enjoy. And I've been using StoryGraph a lot this year, especially because I'm trying to stay away from Amazon and Jeff Bezos and all of his companies. And Goodreads, unfortunately, is owned by Jeff Bezos, and I just think we need a new platform to track our books, and this one just seems really good. And one of the features that I really like in this website is the recommendation features. And basically you have a lot of questions that you need to fill out in the website, and because of those answers they give you specified recommendations just for you and based on what you answered and your reading taste. And this feature just seems really good, and I just wanted to try it and see if the recommendations that they give me are any good and see if they hit the nail on the head and are able to find some good books for me that I've never heard about, because we all know that the Goodreads recommendation system is the worst. So I'm really hoping that this will be a good addition for me to find new books. So basically they have a part on their website called Your Reading Preferences, and there you answer a bunch of questions, and based on those answers they give you recommendations. So here are my answers. I said that my favorite genres are contemporary, young adult, speculative fiction, LGBTQIA+, and fantasy. Then the kind of books that I like to read are multi-generational, LGBTQ+ stories and authors, present-day setting, no romance, concrete endings, enemies to lovers trope, translated work, racially diverse stories, few characters, and hard-hitting topics. So basically this one I could like write anything I wanted, and I think they basically analyze all of those like key elements. Then the characters I appreciate the most are character-driven, strong character development, and learn about the human experience and behavior. This one I had a few like options that I could fill out. The genres that I don't like and aren't interested in reading right now are business, computer science, cookbook, crime, design, economics, food and drink, philosophy, sports, and video games. So a lot of categories. I could put more, honestly. The things that turn me off in books are predictable plots and likable characters, confusing and ambiguous endings. And this last one I could change because there are some books that come to mind that have confusing endings and I still like them, but mostly I don't. So yeah, and I'm never in the mood for books that are funny, mysterious, and relaxing. So I like to be on edge and I like to cry, basically. So these are the things that I said to StoryGraph that I like and dislike, and I got some recommendations because of that. So here are the recommendations that I got, and it's funny because they gave me a really big list of like 20 books or something, and of this list I only know like 2 books, which is really good. They're like giving me books that aren't that well known and that I still could love. So in this vlog I will read the first 3 recommendations that they gave me, and I'm going to see if I like them or not. So the first one is Last Night in Nuuk by Nivyuk Cornelisium and Anna Alliger. I've never heard about this book, but it's fiction, contemporary, and it has LGBTQIA+ themes. It's challenging, reflective, and medium-paced. It has 173 pages and it was first published in 2014. The next recommendation that I got was Marriage of a Thousand Lies by S.J. Sindhu, and I've also never heard about this book. This is a fiction book and contemporary book, and it deals with LGBTQIA+ topics. I'm really glad that it gave me LGBT stories because that's what I really like to read. And it's emotional, reflective, and slow-paced. I don't really like slow-paced books, but we'll see. It has 288 pages and it was first published in 2017. And then the next recommendation that they gave me was Cantoras, and this is a book by Carolina de Robertis. This is a fiction book, historical book, and it also deals with LGBTQIA+ topics, and it's emotional, hopeful, and medium-paced. and it has 336 pages, and it was first published in 2019, so 2 years ago. So these are the 3 books that I'm going to read. So now I'm going to buy the books and I will see you when I get them. Hello. So it's a couple of weeks later, and yesterday I got my 3 books in the mail. So I have As Cantoras by Carolina de Robertis, I have Last Night in Nuuk by Nivea Curlucilium, and I have Marriage of a Thousand Lies by S.J. Sindhu. And yeah, all of these books arrived at the same time, which I'm really glad about. And also I've noticed that these 3 books are pretty short. The shortest one is this one, Last Night in Nuuk, which is, it's 173 pages, and the longest one I think is Marriage of a Thousand Lies, which is 275 pages. And honestly, I didn't really say that I liked short books, but they kind of guessed it, because I do enjoy shorter books. And it's really funny because yesterday when I got them in the mail, I was thinking that if I saw these books at a bookstore, I would never pick them up. These aren't really the covers that I usually go for, really. Like, maybe this one I would go for, As Cantoras. This is the one that I think is the prettiest, I guess, but I don't know, like, I would never pick these books up. And yeah, I just think that's really funny because I probably wouldn't have found these books or picked them up if it weren't for this video. So I'm really grateful for the StoryGraph for giving me these recommendations already. And I haven't really told you what these books are about, so I'm gonna start now. So first we have Marriage of a Thousand Lies, and this book follows Lucky and Krishna, who are husband and wife, but they are both gay, so they present an illusion of marital bliss to their conservative Sri Lankan American families, while they both date on the side to other people, obviously. And then Lucky's grandmother has a nasty fall and she has to return to her childhood home and unexpectedly reconnects with her former best friend and first lover, Nisha, who is preparing for an arranged marriage with a man she's never met. And it's about Sri Lankan American families and LGBTQ canons. And yeah, it just seems super interesting and I am really excited for this one. Then we have As Cantoras, and this book is set in Uruguay in the 1970s, under which homosexuality is a dangerous transgression, and it follows 5 women who miraculously find one another, and it follows their life during 35 years as they travel back and forth between a secret sanctuary and yeah, sometimes together, sometimes in pairs with lovers in tow or alone. And it just seems super interesting. Also a book set in Uruguay during the brutal military government in the 1970s. Super interesting, super right up my alley, so yeah. And then Last Night in Nuuk, and this book is set in Greenland's capital city, and it brilliantly weaves together the coming of age of 5 young people. And yeah, I think that's it. And there's also a lesbian couple, like I'm seeing from the back. And yeah, a book set in Greenland, super fascinating. And honestly, I would say that from reading the back of these 3 books, I would say that my favorite is going to be Marriage of a Thousand Lies, and then As Cantoras, and then Last Night in Nuuk for some reason. I don't know, maybe it will change, but I think this is my rating before reading the books. Like, I would give this one first place, and then this one second place, and this one third place. Now I have to read them and see if I'm right or not, if I will love them, if I will hate them. I don't know, we'll see. And I think the first one that I'm going to start with is Cantoras by Carolina de Robertis. I don't know why, I'm just feeling it right now. I'm going to start with this one and then I'll move on to these other 2 and see which one is my favorite, and if the StoryGraph got it right with these recommendations. We'll see. So I will see you guys later with my thoughts on this book. Hello everyone, so I thought I would update you guys since I am almost halfway done with Cantoras. I'm starting part 2 now, which is from the year 1980 to 1987, and as of now I'm really enjoying this book. I really like the characters and I love how defined they are. I get characters mixed up a lot in books, and in this book I feel like the characters have very different personalities and stories, and I clearly know which one is which I really enjoy. And yeah, I'm really liking the book. I love seeing the relationships progress and also like little glimpses of life in Uruguay during this time. And I also really like the writing and how it switches points of view in between like chapters and in between paragraphs as well, but it's not confusing, you know? So I'm really liking that as well. As of now, this is a 3.75 out of 5 stars. As I said, I'm still halfway, so I still have a long way to go, but I'm really enjoying it and this experiment is being a success, so I'm happy about that. So I'll give you my final thoughts when I finish the book, and yeah, I'll see you guys later. Hello, so yesterday I finished reading Cantores by Carolina Gilbertis. This is the first book for this experiment with StoryGraph, and I really enjoyed it. I think I'm giving it either 3.5 or 4 star. I'm still debating on it. I really love the setting and all of the history behind this book because this is set in the 70s in Uruguay and it has a lot of history ingrained in the story, which I really liked. And I also really like the characters, like I've mentioned before. They're all very distinct and I just could like picture each one of them, and they all had very different personalities from each other. And I like how the story progressed, but at the same time I didn't really like the ending. It was just like a lot of things happened that I just didn't feel like they looked natural and normal. I'm trying not to give any spoilers, but yeah, the ending wasn't really my favorite, so that's why I'm debating between a 3.5 and a 4 star, because I was really like, I was always thinking I'm going to give this book a 4 star, and then the ending just ruined it for me. But other than that, I really like the story, I really like the writing. This is a very different book from anything I read, and yeah, it was a pretty great book. 3.5 is honestly one of my most common ratings, but it's a great rating for me, so yeah, I'm happy with this. And now I'm going to start the next book, which is Marriage of a Thousand Lies by S.J. Sindhu, and I don't even remember what this book is about anymore. It's about conservative Sri Lankan American families, and it's about Lucky and her husband, who are both gay. Okay, that's it. That's the gay part of the book. And I'm really excited for this one. I think I'm going to like this one better than Cantores, but who knows, maybe I won't. I think I said in another vlog clip that I thought this was the longest book, so I wasn't going to start with this one, but it was this one. Out of the 3, this is the longest book, but this one falls behind at 271 pages, and also the font is super big, so I think I'm going to read this one pretty fast, and I'm really excited. And I will check in with you once I am halfway and I have some thoughts on the book, so I'll see you guys in another day. Hello everyone, so I am more than halfway done with Marriage of a Thousand Lies, and I've actually been reading this book more through the audiobook than actually physically, because I found out that it had an audiobook on script, so I gave it a try, and then I figured out that the audiobook narrator for this book is the same one that does the Poppy War trilogy, and I just really like listening to the audiobook for the Poppy War. I really like the narrator and all the voices that she does, so since this one is narrated by the same person, I am also really enjoying it. I think I'm enjoying this one a little bit more than the last one that I read, Cantores, and like I said, I'm more than halfway. I think I'm like 2/3 of the way in, and yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I feel like I'm going to give it a 4 star. I really don't know how the story will like go and move forward, because like unexpected things keep happening in this book, and yeah, I just don't know where the story is going at all. And I'm really liking the characters, and I'm really liking the discussion of homosexuality and how it is perceived by Asian communities and cultures, especially on the Sri Lankan one, which the book touches on. And yeah, I'm really liking it. I'm also getting little glimpses of life in Sri Lanka, which I obviously have never been to, and I just don't know anything about that country. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I really like the writing, and even though I'm liking this one a little bit more than Cantores, I feel like I'm still going to give this one a 4 star, just like I did with the last one. But like a 4 star to me is honestly such a great rating. But I'm really impressed with these choices until now, because I never would have picked this book up if it weren't for this video and this vlog and the StoryGraph recommendations system. So yeah, I'm really impressed, really liking it, and yeah, I'm excited to read the third one now. So I will check in with you guys when I finally finish the book and to see if my rating changes or not, and how did I like the ending, because the last book that I read, Cantores, the ending kind of disappointed me a bit, and I'm not even sure if I gave it a 3.5 because of the ending. Not sure anymore because it has been a long time since I read that book, but I feel like I had. So hoping this one doesn't do me like that one, doesn't do me dirty. So yeah, I will see you guys next time. Hello. So yesterday I finished reading Marriage of a Thousand Lies, and this is definitely a 4-star book. I really enjoyed the ending. I love how everything wrapped up. I love where all of the characters ended up in, and I just really enjoyed it. It was a very fun read, and yeah, it's definitely 4-star. And now that I ended this one, I'm finally going to start Last Night in Nook, which is the last book in this experiment. And this book is so short, honestly. It's 170 pages. I haven't read this short of a book in a while, and I have already started it, but I'm still in like the first chapter. And something that I really enjoy and that this book has, and that I don't see a lot in books, is when they have like the list of characters in the beginning of the book. I also saw this in Dare by Tommy Orange, and I really liked it because I'm really someone that starts to confuse characters a lot, especially when it's a big cast of characters. And yeah, this way I won't mix them up and I will remember all of them. So yeah, I'm ready to start this one. I'm hopefully going to finish this one soon, especially since it's so short. And I honestly have no expectations for this one. It's set in Greenland, and it's a coming-of-age story about 4 young people. And yeah, I think they're all like very different from each other, and they're all going through like different struggles. I don't know, I'm just reading from the back, but like, yeah, I have no expectations for this book, but I'm hoping that I will like it, because as of now I did enjoy the other books that StoryGraph has recommended, so I'm probably also going to enjoy this one. I'm probably not gonna give it a 2-star. So yeah, I will continue reading the book now, and maybe I will only check up at the end of the book since this one is so short. I feel like there's no point in me making a checkup in the middle of the book. So yeah, I will see you guys when I finish this. Hello, so I have finished Last Night in Nook by Nivea Cornelisium. I finished this book actually last night, and I read it basically in 2 sittings, and I think this is going to be a 2.5 stars out of 5 stars. I had some problems with it. First one being that the book is so short that we can't really know the characters that well. I felt like I didn't know them. I wanted to know more about the characters, but the book is literally 170 pages, so there wasn't that much time to get to know them a lot. Also, the author's writing is very straightforward and very stream of consciousness, which I do enjoy to a certain degree. I feel like I still prefer flowery and more lyrical writing instead of like straightforward and kind of analytical writing, so that kind of bugged me sometimes. But then there were also things that I liked about the book. The first one being the representation and the diversity in characters, because there's one trans main character, there are a bunch of lesbians and bisexuals, and I just love that. I love the representation in terms of sexual orientation and identity. That is very present in this book and is one of the main themes of the book. And also I did enjoy that this book had 5 main characters basically, and the book is divided into 5 parts, and each part is in the perspective of one of those characters, and it's kind of all the same story, but we view the story in different perspectives, and we get a little bit of like glimpses into their lives in those days that the story is told. And yeah, I really like that. That was very different. I don't think I've ever read a book like that. So this book was very middle of the road for me. That's why I gave it 2.5 out of 5 stars, which is 5 stars out of 10 stars if you view it like that, because there were some things that I really enjoyed and some things that I didn't really vibe with. So yeah, I guess that's it, and that concludes the end of this vlog. I'm gonna get the other books. So these were the 3 books that I got recommended by StoryGraph.com. I read this one first, which is Cantores by Carolina de Robertis. I gave this one 3.5 out of 5 stars, which is a very good rating for me. Then I read Marriage of a Thousand Lies by S.J. Sindhu, which I gave 4 out of 5 stars. And this was obviously my favorite out of the 3, and I really enjoyed it. And then I read Last Night in Nuuk by Nivea Cornelisium, and I gave this one 2.5 out of 5 stars. And I think my original prediction of the books was that this one was going to be my favorite and that this one was going to be my least favorite. I'm not really sure because it's been a while, but that was actually a right prediction because this one was my favorite and this one was my least favorite. But I did enjoy my reading of each of these books, and like I've said before in this vlog, I would have never pick these books up if it weren't for this vlog, if it weren't for StoryGraph, and I will definitely look into more of StoryGraph recommendations. I will definitely tweak some things in my preferences in my profile, but I really like these recommendations. I think it's a very good system if you're looking for new books that you don't see a lot in social media and on BookTube and that maybe can appeal to you. I think it's a very good recommendation system, and I will definitely look into my the rest of my list that I still have and see if there are other ones that I might enjoy. If you want a part 2 for this vlog, let me know because I would definitely be into doing more of these and seeing other recommendations that StoryGraph gives me and read those because yeah, I'm always looking for new books to read. So yeah, and I really like this experience because it was very different, and also it was really nice because I kept checking these 3 books on Goodreads and no one that I knew actually had read them, so I was the first one to actually read them and rate them, and I didn't have other opinions to base my own opinion on, which is also nice. Also, let me know if you're interested in reading any of these books. I will definitely recommend all 3 because they're all very different from each other. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below if you haven't, and I will see you on my next one. Bye!